I think it's official. Star Wars is completely dead. It's very hard to believe. I mean, I was watching Star Wars, the original Star Wars, um, the first movie that came out. Um, it's hard to believe that I saw it in the theater when it actually came out in 1977, and that just makes me old. But that the next movies that were, you know, so good, the next two movies, and then the prequels, which were okay. I get it. I see what you're trying to do. I see what story you're telling. I see how this story connects, and I see how the story flows. And we went from A to B, point A to point B to point C, and it all made sense and adhered to something. And now with Disney taking over Star Wars, it's gone nowhere, and just I can't even believe how bad it is. I would just declare it dead. It's dead now. We need a gravestone that just, Star Wars is dead. Thank you so much. I mean, I do have a friend who worked at maybe Lucasfilm somewhere who, you know, was just not treated very well, and many bad things happened, and just it seems from what they were telling me, it seems like a fairly toxic place to work. Um, so that's why they are not there anymore. They've moved on from Lucasfilm, but still, it's bad. Now there's this article here. Of course, here are all the Rise of Skywalker retcon reveals. So we're taking everything and just ignoring, the past. Not, So here's some of these things. Finn's big secret. So I guess some of these are in the book. That it's bad when you have to have people read a book in order to understand what your movie is, because no one's going to read the book, especially go and buy a book to read. To make this movie make sense. So a big plot hole when Finn's trying to tell Rey something and then never happens. And I guess according to J.J. Abrams, he was going to tell her, "Oh, I can feel the Force too." Okay, yeah, that's right. Because in this Star Wars, everybody's got the Force. It doesn't really matter. So it makes the Force pointless. Lando's DNA test. Who even knew this was coming? Another missing piece of information. Need to only single line to clarify what was the relationship between Lando Calrissian and Janna, the emancipated stormtrooper. Okay, why do I don't. I mean, I've seen the Rise of Skywalker once, so I don't even remember that. So that's how pointful it was. Okay, this is another great one. The Massacre of Innocence. When Palpatine reappears, the audience is expecting him, given that his return is revealed during the opening crawl, but doesn't know how he came back or where his massive fleet of Star Destroyers came from. Because some writer just said, just put a bunch of Star Destroyers, it doesn't matter. The canonical answer is that Palpatine's ships were built and piloted by brainwashed slaves. Even though I think they were, another rumor was they were children that lived on Exegol, and they indoctrinated them somehow. I don't know. So this detail fills a pretty gaping hole. Star Destroyers require a massive amount of resources to build, so it was strange that Palpatine had so many to spare. Yeah, plus the fact they all need to be crewed by somebody, plus the fact that your little antenna thing that controlled it was stupid, that they can't be autonomous, or you can't, so much dumbness. But the retcon completely changes the way we view the final battle, as tragedy now sours the great victory. In hindsight, our heroes made the choice to slaughter uncountable innocents brainwashed by the Sith into doing their bidding in order to defeat Palpatine. So all of the people that they took from Exegol and brainwashed, who are not actually part of the Empire or Last Order, as it were, that they're on the ships. They're not willing participants, but they killed them all anyway. So now, now who's the bad people? It seems like the Resistance is the bad people, just going and killing a bunch of innocent people. So Horrible. Horrible writing, horrible everything. Here we go. Clones all the way down. The question of Palpatine's resurrection was waved away by a single line, which had been memed to death. The dark side of the Force is the pathway to many abilities some consider unnatural. Okay, but even the lack of explanation didn't quite add up. We saw Palpatine's body vaporized during the original trilogy. Force ghosts like that visited Luke didn't seem to be aware that Palpatine was still alive. Yes, which is weird. So the resurrection and retcon was explained through a second retcon coming from the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, which proposes Palpatine anticipated his demise, grew several clone bodies as a backup, and transferred his consciousness to one of them before his body dissolved in part. It's so dumb. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe I'm reading this. Not clear why they all look alike. Because we know that Palpatine's distinctive features are the result of a fistful of Force lightning rather than genetic anomaly. Perhaps Palpatine grew fond of his deformity and demanded the clothes be electrocuted. And of course, Rey's new father. Rey's new father was actually one of the clones that Palpatine had. It just gets worse, doesn't it? I mean, you just can't even understand how horrible this gets. So the Rey and Kylo kiss means nothing. I think the most important message that the filmmakers want us to take away from Rise of Skywalker is that none of it meant anything, especially Rey and Kylo's. I wouldn't call it passionate. It was, which was completely platonic according to the novelization. Okay. Many fans were surprised because it was pandering to the Reylo people. I don't know. Once again, completely continuing the theory, the thought that Star Wars is completely dead. You have to have books that explain everything. You have to keep bringing months and months and months after the movie has been in the theater. You're still trying to explain it to people. That's not how. So let's look at Box Office Mojo, see where we are. See how far down it's fallen. Rise of Skywalker is now 22. It's making $51,000 in the theater this last whatever day this was. So it's just falling off completely. And just like last year, or 2 years ago, when Jumanji came out, Jumanji just completely trashed, The Last Jedi. Just completely. And here, Jumanji is it's going up in the theater. Yeah, the other day it was 12 and now it's back up to number 10. Still making $377,000 in a day. Still. Go see Jumanji again. Go see Jumanji. Go see Sonic the Hedgehog. Those are way better movies. You'll have way more fun. You'll have everything better. I mean, the Jumanji franchise is way more alive than the Star Wars franchise, for sure. So, I don't get it. I mean, okay, there are a few good things in Star Wars. One is The Mandalorian. Seems it's okay. It's good, doing okay. I mean, all my reviews, I thought it was pretty good. There were some episodes that could be skipped, things like that. In the end, they kind of brought things together a little bit, and they of course bumbled the merchandising of the child and stuff. But that's that's expected, I guess, because everything's going to get leaked. If you're trying to do it ahead of time, and the Rise of the Resistance ride at Star Wars is pretty good. It would be so much better, I think, if it were, classic characters, but Disney's not going to do that. It's pretty fun. I've ridden both left and right hand sides, and I think I like the right hand side the better than the left hand side. So they are a little bit different. But that's it. That's all we have of Star Wars that's left that's any good. Is Mandalorian, and I guess the people are watching the Clone Wars thing, and I guess that's being okay, but they keep cutting out scenes and stuff for some reason that might be a little offensive to somebody. I don't know. It's crazy, but I think it's on its way out. It's one of the patients, that's on their last legs. They're on a respirator. They're getting ready to pull the plug. I think if they came out with another movie at all, I don't even think you could make $1 billion anymore with it. I just don't think so. Anyway, tell me what you think. Do you think Star Wars is dead? I mean, I think maybe take a 10-year break. I think they did a big, huge break in Star Trek before they rebooted the movies. And the first one was good, and then they got repeatedly worse because of J.J. Abrams again. I think that's the thing that we need to get rid of is one is J.J. Abrams, right? And of course, Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. But we'll see. These people keep killing all our franchises and pumping them with identity politics and social justice narratives and things like that. I'm just you get done with it, right? You didn't, Jumanji, none of it, and it was amazing. It was a wonderful movie. Sonic, none of the crap. Wonderful movie. Go see those. That's all. That's my only recommendation, to do that. All right. Well, thanks for watching this, and have a good day. Take care.